And good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, depending upon where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the love activist, and I'm excited to have you here. And I hope that you will click share and tag some folks to join us in tonight's topic. I am live, of course, from the Love and Stuff community page here on Facebook, and also the Marcus R. Holmes page on Facebook, on Twitch TV, via Restream, and on YouTube. And so if you're on any or all of those platforms, like Sandra Beavers and William Lyons, who joined us the fourth, thank you so much. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us in this topic today. And I hope that this topic will be one that you will share with 5 of your closest friends, 5 of your more popular friends, whether they're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV tonight, even on IG Live. Hello, Christina Smith. I'm so glad that you've stopped through, one of my favorites in our Love and Stuff community, and who is also an entrepreneur. Powerful Money Tools LLC. We'll have to get that commercial in circulation again. She's been a blessing to many people in our community here in Love and Stuff who want to get their financial future in order, want to get financially fit. And so I want to shout out to Christina. I hope that you will click share and tag someone to join us in the discussion that we have here. Now, many times the topics come directly from the inbox. So if you want to inbox, preferably at Love and Stuff here on Facebook, we will take those topics and determine whether or not we'll have a discussion about those. You can do those topics in anonymity, or you can share with everybody by coming live with me here on the stage, if you will. So we'd love to have you and love to hear your topic. Just before we get into the topic itself, I want to remind you that the Gratefulness Journey every day, what are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life, is available on Amazon, Kobo, and Barnes and Noble, as well as a book that I've authored that I think will bless you with 3 principles to transform your life, 3 simple habits. And we're going to talk a little bit about habits in a minute. And then Valencia Etner, who is a member of our Love and Stuff community, affectionately known here as Mama V, is a co-author of a book, Little Fires Everywhere: Pandemic, Protests, Politics, and Power. It's a great read, and you want to go to theencouragement.com to access that read as well. So thank you so much. Yep, I'm working on the next book, Christina. The next book actually is a children's book. You may remember Sonia Cherise from our Love and Stuff community. So this book is loosely based on some of the things she experienced around colorism. Then after that, I picked back up the Gratefulness series of books, which is the next one is on friendships. Grateful around friendships, and I'll share some things about friendship that I think are really important in the gratefulness journey. So thank you for that that shout out. Okay, click share and tag someone to join us. I'm just gonna tag drop a few clicks and shares, and I hope that you will do the same across platforms with various folks on various pages that we have and groups. While I'm talking about pages and groups, don't forget that there is an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about the love activists and all of the folks in the Love and Stuff community by joining our group inside of Love and Stuff. And there monthly, we will have interaction just live in the messenger room with folks from around the world, so that you can get to meet and know the people like Christina and others that are in our Love and Stuff community, and get a chance to talk with them one-on-one or in group settings. And many, many wonderful people in our community. And you'd be surprised. You could be one connection away from the love that will blow your mind. And everyone is saying, "Oh, I want my boo, my bae." That's a connection, but it could be the job that you wanted. It could be the home that you wanted. It could be a relationship restoration with your family, your children, your parents. And so many opportunities are available. We want you to go to the group under Love and Stuff and click on Inside of Love and Stuff. And that way you will be able to join us there. All right. Corey Mildred King is joining us from Covington, Georgia. Richard R. White, the pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. Thank you so much. James Edwards. Thank you both. I hope that you will click share, tag someone to join us. 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular to join us in the discussion. Jesse Burrows has joined us. Thank you all for joining. And I hope that you will click share, whether you're watching us from the Love and Stuff page, the Marcus Our Homes page, whether you're watching from one of the group pages that we shared to, whether you're watching us on Twitch TV or YouTube events. I hope that you will click share and tag someone to join us. All right. Going to get into the topic. I just wanted to again remind you of clicking that notification bell at the top so that whenever Love and Stuff goes live, that you will be notified and you can come and participate and be a part of a wonderful community and discussion. Now, here in the Midwest, it's not around the world, but here in the Midwest, there is this holiday that's coming up. Holiday loosely, because people think of holiday as more holy days, right? But there is this holiday, this celebration that happens annually called Sweetest Day. Anybody ever heard of Sweetest Day? Sweetest Day? Well, that's the celebration that's coming up this Saturday, where it started a kind of a holiday for the less fortunate, actually. But we have taken it as a holiday of love. And the brothers say that Sweetest Day is their day, where Valentine's Day is the ladies' day, right? Very few brothers, unless you all don't celebrate holidays and things like that, very few brothers miss Valentine's Day, right? And so now, Hallmark, of course, is making a mint on Sweetest Day and others that are capitalizing on the opportunity, even though it's kind of regional. There are millions of people that are single, divorced, or widowed that don't have a sweetie, right? And so I thought that I'd take out this time and talk a little bit to all of those that are single and whole, those that are single and waiting, those that are just single, about something that I think you might want to do if you haven't done. Invest in someone that is amazing, someone that is powerful, someone that is smart and savvy and funny and kind. I mean, I highly recommend this individual to you. I highly recommend this individual to you. If you are saying, hey, I love celebrating people. I love helping people. I love doing for people. I love giving to people. I love to care for other people. I think that you should consider this person this weekend to start, and maybe every weekend. You should click share right now, because I want everybody that I can. I know I'm up against Queen Sugar and other stuff, but I want everybody that can. Jeremy C. Haynes from Texas and Lena Brown here in Detroit. I want you to click share. I want everybody that can. I want to introduce you to somebody that I want you to invest in. I personally vouch, me, Marcus Holmes, I personally vouch. And as a human resources professional in one of my vocations, I'm bivocational, but in one of my vocations, trust and honesty, integrity are paramount. And so I take it very seriously when I refer somebody. So I don't refer everybody for jobs and stuff like that. But if I refer you, I take it very seriously that my word is my bond, that you're going to be a good match for whatever I'm referring you. I personally vouch for this individual. And I want you to think about ways this weekend how you could invest, reach deep down in your pockets and your treasure and your heart to support this individual. Okay? And like I said, I would not just recommend just anybody. I would not recommend to you and say, oh, you should, this person, you should invest in this person. I would not just recommend anybody to you. I would not use this platform to just recommend to somebody that, hey, you know, somebody that said, hey, I have a need, and I hope that you will ask people in your Love and Stuff community to give to my need. I do not use the platform in that way. Certainly we help people who need. I believe we can't be a love community and increase the amount of love in the world, which is our vision, without helping people. And there'll be many opportunities to come where you can help people, you know, some people that we may have never met or seen. But this, I'm telling you, I vouch for, I vet, I'm telling you, okay? I believe that you should invest. This person is you. I believe in you. I believe you are awesome and wonderful and handsome and beautiful and pretty and smart. You are tall, you are short, you are thick, you are thin, you are black, you are white, you are yellow, you are brown. You have brown eyes or amber eyes like mine. You have green eyes or gray eyes or blue eyes. You spend all of the time giving to and doing for other people. How about a day for you to start? It's around this self-care, you see. It's around giving to yourself. It's around pouring into your own. Okay. And so I was thinking about it because I know that there will be a lot of people. And again, not every state in the United States celebrates this. For those of you, especially my YouTube folks and some of the Love and Stuff folks, and as I always say, my Instagram folks that Christina got for us. A lot of you are overseas. You're out of the country, so you probably have never heard of Sweetest Day. But it's a day where it has become a day where you spend some time with the one you love. And I will imagine that there are tons of people that are spending time with family or spending time at the church or spending time at work, but never fully feeling like a whole person in all of those activities, a whole single person. And so I thought it would be great to share with you, as we've shared before from Gary Chapman's language of love, of some of the characteristics of some things that you can do for you and things you should do for you that are along a journey of self-care. I think self-care is so important, and I've shared with you before and will continue to stand on the rooftop. I was not even aware that I had hypertension, that I was hypertensive. I had no awareness of, even though hypertension, diabetes run on in my family, I had no mental awareness of it. Because you see, I was caregiving. I was caregiving for a parent and serving as a uncle dad for a daughter and not really thinking about me. I was getting up in the morning, caregiving, going to work, caregiving, going to rehearsal, going home, eating somewhere in between, right? And all of the other activities that would go with homework and cheer practice and uh, all of those things. But I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't taking care of mind, body, and soul, which should be taken care of. There should be a mind, body, and soul plan of care that you have for you, because you'll be a much better employee, a much better caregiver, a much better spouse, a much better parent, a much better volunteer if you are taking care of yourself. And so I hope that while you are here, and I'm hoping that you will click share, again, from Gary Chapman's love languages. There are 5 love languages, categories, I'll call them. And you should know yours, and you should know that of your spouses. But today it's more an inward focus on what is yours, right? So there are 5 of them, right? There are words of affirmation. You like to hear, you like to hear words of affirmation. You like to hear thank you. You like to hear you look great. You smell wonderful. You like to hear I love that color on you. You like to hear words that are affirming. Okay? Acts of service. You like for people to do things for you. It could be the small, most insignificant thing, but those small things matter to you. Okay? Receiving gifts. You like gifts, trinkets, and different things. You like to be showered or given gifts. That's the way that you speak in love language, receiving gifts. You like quality time. You like to spend time with the people that you love, doing the things that you love. And sometimes spending time with the people that you love and doing the things that they love. And then the 5th one is physical touch. You like physical touch. You like your senses to be heightened through touching. Okay? And I want to talk a little bit about turning some of these acts inward as a part of your self-care. I often say, being in the African American diaspora, especially in the United States, requires you to have words of affirmation. You must speak words of affirmation to yourself. You shouldn't wait for others to say those things to you. But as a part of your self-care, I share that a part of my gratefulness journey is lying awake in the morning and connecting to the providence of God. I'm a man of faith. And just connecting my being, to the wonderful, I struggle at words sometimes to describe him, but God is love. And so I spend my morning, part of it, trying to connect my being to that love. And I emphasize the being because it's a beingness before you're doing anything. See, you could be defined by the things that you do, but you should just live in the fact that you are, that you be. There's a beingness to you that I believe is important to acknowledge every day. It's a being. You are a being, right? And when you acknowledge that being in the lens, in the care and custody of a God who loves you and created you, then in that being should come some words of affirmation. And in those words of affirmation, we're not waiting for others to speak them to us. We're speaking them to our being, right? Before you're doing. Because sometimes we should be doing, we should be in motion, but sometimes we get caught up in the definition of what we are doing instead of working on the character of who we are being. Who are we being? So, words of affirmation. You are amazing. You are handsome. I'm talking to me now, I'm looking at you. And you can handle anything this day brings to you because you are God's son. You're created in his image and likeness, and he finds pleasure in you. You have to create a habit about that because there are so many sensory pulses throughout the world, if you will, that will try to convince you otherwise. You have to begin to say, hey, I am, and finish it, right? Like God is, I am that I am. Well, what is the I am that you are? Hello, Nicole Baldwin. I hope you will click share. Thank you for joining us. Click share and tag some folks to join us, whether you're watching us on the Marcus Our Homes page or the Love and Stuff page. And those of you that are watching on Twitch TV, thank you. We just got a new follower or two. Thank you so much. I hope you all will click share over there on Twitch TV as well as YouTube events. We're talking about stuff I love. And one of the things I love is self-care. And the 5 love languages, we're talking about the first one, words of affirmation. So if words of affirmation is your language of love, then give words of affirmation to yourself. Self-affirming words, right? That build up your confidence so that you can go out and conquer the world, right? Then acts of service, right? So acts of service, we think of acts of service, and thank you, Bilal, Muhammad, for joining us. Thank you so much. Acts of service, we think of doing something for someone else. One of the acts of service that's recommended, they're saying, in one way, if you're going in the sweetest day, you could say, my husband wakes me up every morning, often naps too, with a perfect cup of tea. Took me a long time to realize that he's saying, I love you with every mug full. Okay. So that was a woman describing an act of service. Now turn that inward. What are the things that you could do for yourself that you do for other people? So when you think about self-care, and if you're going into the sweetest day single, or you're going into the sweetest day and you will be by yourself, or if you don't even celebrate sweetest day in your region or area, but you're going into the weekend, what act of service can you do for yourself? Can you go to the salt room? They have these salt rooms that you go in and you sit and it's dark and you just absorb the salt, brings up the mucus and it clears your sinuses. That's something that you could do for yourself. Could you go and have a pedicure or go and have a massage? Could you grab a good book if you like to read, like The Gratefulness Journey Every Day, shameless plug, and curl up with a good book? Could you put a log in that fireplace and grab your glass of wine that you love to have and just sit there and meditate and enjoy? What is an act of service that you could do for yourself? Stop all the hustle and bustle and say, I'm going to do something for me. Okay? Receiving gifts. Now, some people say, well, that's hard to do because there's no surprise element to the gift. And it doesn't have to be a surprise. But you could say, you know what, I've been, Christina would say, make sure you're saving your money. So you say, you know what, Christina, I've been saving my money. I'm going to take a little bit out of that savings and I'm going to buy me something really nice. Something that's, economical, of course, but I'm going to buy me a nice little gift. I'm going to do something nice for myself. And, I'm going to get that slice of cake that I want. I'm going to buy that slice of cake and put it aside for my Wednesday's lunch. You can do something nice for yourself. Give yourself a gift. Thank you, Carolyn Susang Ong, for joining us. I hope you will click share on the Love and Stuff community. Quality time. That is my top love language. I would say it's running close. I just don't have one, and you may not just have one of these 5. You could probably rank your 5. But some of these might totally not do it for you. Like necessarily, someone might say, oh, you did a great job on that. That isn't as valuable to me. It's valuable, but it's not as valuable to me as getting some of their time. Time has always been big to me. The people that know me, that love me, know I want your time. I want to know that time with me, be it on Zoom, on the phone, instant messenger, in person, that is valuable to me when you take out your time to be with me, to call me, to spend with me. That's valuable to me. And it's my number 1 love language. I am most invigorated. I'm most excited when someone says, I just came to visit you. I just came to spend time with you. That means a lot to me. I like time. because it's something that we can never get enough of, but we can never get back time. Good evening, Lena Brown. Thank you for joining us. Click share and tag 5 of your closest friends, 5 of your more popular ones to join us in the stuff I love around self-care. And I'm right now talking about the 5 love languages. So quality time is my big one. And one of the things that I would suggest that I love, I mentioned earlier that I'm bivocational. Some would say human resources by trade, but I've been doing music longer than human resources. So, and I can remember years ago in being in what I thought was a hustle, I would do 4 or 5 funerals on a Saturday if I could fit them in. I do as many engagements on a Sunday, as many bar mitzvahs and weddings and banquets and anniversaries as I could, just making that extra whatever dollars that I got, right? But what I was giving up was time that I could never get back with parents and nephews and nieces and cousins. There would be times that I would leave work on Friday and literally shower those other 2 days and not really touch down anywhere. I could be from here to New York and back, here to San Diego and back, here to North Carolina and back, here to Chicago and back, and Chicago and back. All for this, filling up my time with all of these events and funerals and weddings. Some of them, I couldn't tell you today if they're still married, if I couldn't tell you. But at that time, filling all of that in, singing. And I decided that my Saturdays would become like a Sabbath day, and that I would reserve some time on Saturday just for the purpose of acknowledging the wonderment and awe of God's goodness and of God, that I would spend some time just considering the blessings that I've enjoyed, and that I would sleep in. Now, I got to tell you about the sleep in really quickly, because Herbert Holmes, bless his memory, my dad was an army man who believed rising at above 4 o'clock each morning. Even when he retired, he would still get up early. And he would not let me sleep in. Ain't nothing in sleep but a dream. Get up. You got to make it happen. And I would fight. I would be rebellious because I didn't want to get up on a Saturday, especially. I would say, but I don't have to be anywhere. I don't care. Get up. There's something for you to do. Find something to do. And I purposed that when I got old, I wasn't going to follow his rules, 2 of which were getting up every day at the same time, pretty much. He didn't say that as a rule, but that was the rule. And turning the heat on before Thanksgiving, because he would not turn the heat on before Thanksgiving. You cold, put on some clothes. You cold, put on some socks. You cold, put on a robe. You cold, get under the covers. You cold, I'll put a log in a fireplace. He was not turning on the heat. And I can't tell you how many times I violated that and thought he was spooking the place. But I decided some of my Saturday morning was just for me. Not to wake up early, to stay in the bed and just talk, sing, worship, pray, remind myself of God's faithfulness, and then connect with somebody. I might connect with dear friends, Andre and Tracy Green, or I have other high school friends, Rochelle and Sandra and Bruce and Jawan, and others. I would connect just to connect, have the human connection around all of this goodness that I have been enveloped in. Connect with family, connect with cousins, call and talk to people, right? Because for me, that was a way of having quality time for myself. Hello, Aria Moody, actress, thespian extraordinaire. Great to see you. I hope you will click share and tag some folks to join us. We're right at 9:03 and we're talking about stuff I love around self-care. And I shared earlier, Aria, in my journey to self-care, I wasn't even aware that I was hypertensive, wasn't aware about pre-diabetes and diabetes. I knew that these were things present in my family, but because I was so committed to caregiving, I was caring for others and not for myself. I was caring for work, and sometimes I still will work too late and not think about if that work will be there tomorrow, I can get to it, right? It's about caring for yourself. The fifth of this love languages, as I mentioned, is physical touch. And people don't think of physical touch in the way that it could be a part of self-care, but it can be. And it can be as simple as something of rubbing your feet. Could be. But it could be any activity that heightens your senses. You know, I shared before, and I share in the Gratefulness Journey Everyday book, that one of the ways that if I am in a funk, having a bad day or had a bad night, bad dream, bad anything, one of the way I awaken my senses is I get in the shower and have a nice hot shower, right? And get out wet. Not trying to give you too much mental image. Get a towel, turn on the fan or air conditioning unit, and before you dry off, stand in front of it. And let it start to dry you. It'll be cool, it'll be tingling, but then as you start to towel dry, your skin against the towel will feel so different. It awakens your senses. It's the same with smelling coffee beans first thing in the morning. It's the same with getting water and adding a little lemon juice to get your metabolism going in the morning. These are ways of self-care. It is ways that something is touching your senses, touching your body in some way, right? It's that massager that you might use in the shower on your neck and upper torso, right? It's the physical touch that you might do in stretches and in exercise, right? But you got to get something going for you. That's the real epidemic, craving for everything else, but not for ourselves. Yep. We are hardwired to care for everything but ourselves. I believe this, and I should research it more, Bilal. I believe that, and I know there are people who believe a lot of different things, so I'm going to respect what everybody believes, but I'm a man of faith, and this is one of the things I believe. I believe that when God created the heavens and the earth, that when he created this garden, that he created Eve and Adam to be caretakers of this garden, but he didn't complicate their lives with so much that they had to do that they wouldn't be able to enjoy self-care. That his first thought was communion and relationship with him, but that they could have a relationship of self and with each other, that their life in the garden wouldn't be so busy, wouldn't be so filled with things that they wouldn't have time to appreciate it. He didn't want them to tend the one tree, right? He said anything else in here but that one thing, because he knew that one thing would bring a complication that they weren't ready to handle, that they couldn't handle. I believe God designs our lives with pathways and portals for them not to be so busy that we wouldn't enjoy being in life and that we wouldn't enjoy caring for ourselves. But we in this nature are oriented to busy. Busy is powerful and busy is important, you see. If you're busy, you're important, you see, because everybody needs you. You have two cell phones like me. I tease when people say, you have two cell phones. I say, yeah, so that people can tether me. They want to know where I am. But the reality is I am tethered. right? It's a busyness that we get locked into, and it feeds us. It feeds this maybe sense of importance that might not be the truest, right? Because if you're not busy, then you're not doing it. Now, I'm not telling people that they shouldn't be busy and get stuff done. But if you're busy to say that you're busy, you are doing and not being. When you are fully being, it will bring a busyness to you around the doing. But if you're doing for the sake of doing so that it defines who you are, then you're just busy. I hope that landed. You're just busy for the sake of busy. You're doing for the sake of doing. And I was doing that even though the singing was making extra money for me. Now, I will admit, I spent more of that money than I think I ever saved on anything. I remember, and I share this with all of them. I remember one time I did a group of engagements, and then I just flew to New York so that I could go to the Waldorf Astoria. Now, why was I going there? And so that I could be with the hoity-toity people, just to fly back home and live my regular life. But in my mind, I had to go to be with the people that you see were busy. And I filled up several weekends of singing engagements so that I could afford to do that. It was to give myself this false sense of self that I'm as important as those that are singing on Broadway. Well, to God, I believe I am. But I gave a different level of importance to being there and to those people being there, and ascribed a certain value and worth to that instead of just being who I am, who I was, right? And those Saturdays, that time, going to an airport, of course, things were very different back then, could have been time that I could have been spending on myself, because it really wasn't for me. It was what I thought maybe to impress other people, right? But I'm hardwired. I think we are hardwired. Go get it. And we're told to go get it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't accomplish. Get that degree. Get that graduate degree. Get that doctorate. Get it. Buy that home. Marry that man. Marry that woman. Have them kids. Get that promotion on the job. Open your own business. Get it. But not for the sake of getting it, please. Not for the sake of saying you've done it. Let it be because who you are, your beingness, has called you to a level of doing that reflects who you are, reflects the beingness. So I want you to get into the beingness for a minute. Get into that beingness of self-care in these 5 love languages, whichever one is yours. Again, words of affirmation. You like to hear words? You like to hear being called sweetie, baby, honey? Get in that mirror and start saying that to yourself. You will watch your posture change. Because listen, there are limiting voices, dissenting voices all around you, and they will speak to you, and you better speak back to them. So when you're in that mirror saying, you look good, that limiting voice say, yeah, but that ain't your color. Yeah, but you probably 20 pounds. You look better without them 20 pounds. You better speak back and say, now, how would I look better without these 20 pounds? I look darn good with these 20 pounds on, and I'm going to look good with them or without them. And I can't wait to get to a healthier place without them if that's going to help me get to a healthier place. But I look darn good today, just as I am. You have to speak back to those dissenting opinions because that's what they are. And they only have the power that you give to them. You can drown them out with words of affirmation. You're getting up and you're having trouble with your boss. You say, oh, Lord, it's Wednesday. Lord, thank you. Hump day means I am climbing over the problems my boss has, and I am victorious. This Wednesday is going to be a WINS day. I'm climbing over the hump. I'm not under the hump. I'm winning. I'm winning with my boss. I'm winning with my spouse. I'm winning with my children. I am a winner. You have to speak words of affirmation, especially if it is your love language. You love to be spoken to. You love your spouse to say, oh, I love, then say it to yourself. And say the things that you're fearful to articulate about yourself, but that you hope to be true. If you hope to be thinner, if you hope to be in a better income bracket, start to say those things, because the limiting voices and dissenting opinions are already telling you a narrative that you cannot have those things. How about you flip it and say, a year from now, I'm going to be in that new home. A year from now, I'm going to build that addition that I always wanted to this home. God, I don't know exactly how you're going to do it, but I know if it can be done, you can empower me to do it. I'm powerful. So you got to start speaking words of affirmation. Bilal says, boom. Christina says, an abundant life from God is a gift. The abundance is for us to enjoy our life and not just fill our days in life with things. Helping others is a blessing, but abundant living is for you to love life and be thankful for everything in it. I agree. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Thank you for that. Calvin B. Roan, the GOAT. Thank you, sir, for coming through. I love it. I love it. I'm excited. So acts of service, right? And I gave an example of a woman from Gary Chapman's suggestions for 5 love languages, speaking those love languages. Now we're going into a Sweetest Day, and everybody in the world doesn't know about Sweetest Day, but we're going into a weekend that's typically about love and relationships. I want you to get into the love relationship that is you, in yourself. How are you loving you? And so she says her husband gives her the perfect cup of tea every morning. And it took her a long time to realize that he's actually saying, I love you, with every mug full. I think that's powerful. So I want to ask you, what is the act of service that you are doing for yourself that affirms to yourself that you love yourself? What are you doing? Because you know what you enjoy. Good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, right? What are you doing for yourself as an act of service? Me, I must admit, though it is not the best for me, I love coffee. Guess what I do for myself every morning? Now, in my life, I will tell you, all of my life and all of my years of working, I only had one assistant. I won't even say her name. I won't hurt nobody's feelings. But I had one assistant who, without fail, when I came to work, had a cup of coffee on my desk. Or if I'm walking in the door, she wasn't sure exactly what time I was getting in there, she'd say, Marcus, I'm having coffee. Do you want a cup of coffee? I absolutely do. So guess what? I haven't had an assistant like that. I get a cup of coffee. And you would think that I have drank some elixir from heaven the way I love my coffee. Yes, some would say that's addictive, but I love a cup of coffee, 2 shots of toffee nut, an extra shot of espresso, a splash of cream with a Splenda. And I have it every morning, almost like clockwork, almost without fail. It is an act of service to myself that says, you know what? I'm worth this cup of coffee because I enjoy it. I savor it. I relish it. And it gets the juices flowing. I'll say that amount. And it's something that I enjoy doing every day. And I'm saying to myself with every cup, I love you, with every mug full. What is your act of service that you can do for yourself? For yourself. Keith Gregory, thank you for joining us. Sandra Beavers, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you're here. Been thinking of you, these wonderful members of our Love and Stuff community. If you haven't already, you should join our Love and Stuff community. What an amazing place. And when you go to the page, there is a tab for groups. Inside of Love and Stuff is where you want to go if you want to meet me and other people. We're going to have time away from the Tuesday nights and just come together and kick it. And so we had kind of started that before, and we're going to be picking that up, but I wanted more people in the community to participate so that you can enjoy the time with the people in the community. All right. The next Love language is receiving gifts. And I said earlier, okay, if your love language is receiving gifts, then buy yourself something. Now, one I thought smart way is buy yourself several things and put them at different places in your house, and then put reminders on your phone to go to that thing on that day. Or if I'm having a really great day, go to the kitchen and get some cookies. If I'm having a really bad day, that piece of cake is in the bottom shelf of the refrigerator, or it's in a special place that I've kind of hid it. So I give myself the element of surprise. And then when I wake and look at my things to do, if my day is going off kilter, I can go to that. Give yourself gifts. Give yourself some gifts if that's your language. And even if it isn't, it's an awesome thing to do. My top love language, as I said earlier, is quality time. I know that you love me if you give me your time. I've always been that way. And some people love it about me, some people hate it about me. I have friends that are like, but I can't give all of my time. I don't want all of your time, but I want some of your time. My friends will tell you if I don't hear from them, there is a problem. I don't have to hear from you every day. And I've learned from many of my friends, I don't have to see you every day, right? Especially in the pandemic. But I need to hear from you. I need some of your time. Your time says to me that I'm important to you. Well, let me flip that. What about, am I important to me? Do I set aside time in my day, my week, my month, just for me? And as I said earlier, there was a time I didn't do that. I filled from Friday afternoon to Monday morning, engagements, rehearsals, gigs, as they used to call them, traveling here and there, showers in between, food sparsely. I didn't have any time to refresh my thinking, time to meditate, time to pray, time to worship, time to just be. I was so busy doing and doing for others. Could you come sing here? Could you come speak here? Could you come do this? Could you come? Could you come? Could you come? It was never any time for me until I said Saturdays are going to be a Sabbath for me. And in the mornings, I'm going to sleep in against my father's strict wishes, bless his memory. I'm going to sleep in. And in sleeping in, when I awaken, I'm going to lie awake like I try now to do every day and connect my being to the providence of God. Okay, God, you gave me another day. What does this mean? I'm grateful for it. What can I do differently? How can I do it differently? Then I read two books that I'm reading from. Should have brought them down. And they have daily prayers and daily scriptures and a thought. And I try to use things like that. Actually, these are kind of a memoriam for, that's why I tag the Dexter Avenue page. Juanita Taylor, who was Wallace before she passed, was one of my mother's friends and mission circle sisters. And anybody know about mission circles? They had their own mission books that they studied from that came out quarterly. And my mother was very devout in studying those and praying over and meditating over them. And from time to time, she would share with this friend different things that they had gleaned from the readings. Well, her friend was my favorite Sunday school teacher. The reason that I think I learned so much in the early days about the scriptures and God, she was just a passionate Christian woman. And she shared these two books with my mom many years ago. And I found them while I was cleaning up some of my mom's things. And I said, I'm going to start reading these in tribute to her. She recently passed away. And so I started them as a part of my daily reading, just to connect to the providence of God. Now, maybe for you, maybe you're not practicing your faith yet. Maybe you're connecting to something else. But there should be some time when you as a being connect to somebody, whomever, whatever, instead of defining yourself as the doing, because you're going to do that. You're going to be filled in a day with things you have to do. And some of them have no connection to who you are. Then those things can't feed you because they're not connected to your being. They might feed others, they might help others, but the things that you do that feed you are connected to who you are and to who you are becoming. But take some time in just the being, not the doing, not the superwoman, not the Hercules, just being. And so that quality time, I'm flipping it to me. Okay, Marcus, spend quality time with yourself. Spend quality time reading and studying. That quality time is important. I am I'm studying, rather, taking a class on racial equality and the law. Quality time for me then is reading some of the suggested readings and really trying to dig into and get an understanding about it for me. Quality time is listening to the Motown music. I love Aretha. I love Temptation. Some of their stuff I love. I love Marvin Gaye. And I can tell you there are times that I wouldn't be listening to music because I was doing. So just sitting and listening to music. Quality time. It's important to me that others give me time. So it's important to me that I give me time. Reggie Wells says, praise God and good morning, church. I don't mean to be an interruption, but I am in need of a miracle prayer for me and my two daughters after living in a hotel for 5 months. God just put us in the position. Okay. All right, Reggie, you're going to have to inbox me. I appreciate this, but you're going to have to inbox me. All right. Thank you, sir. Cut and paste this and inbox it to me at Love and Stuff. All right. And then physical touch. My husband rubs my feet daily in the evening, one person in this week suggesting for love languages. As we're winding down for bed, we may be watching TV or just talking about the day, and every month he trims my toenails as a difficulty with arthritis in my hands. So there are things you can do. You can give your own self a cuticle cleaning, right? You can use your own massager, as I said earlier, on your neck or upper torso or house or never. But it's about connecting to your own body, right? It's about, I posted the other day, hug yourself like you love yourself. Now, what would you do if you hugged yourself like you give those good hugs? Anybody had a grandma or a TT or mama who gave the best hugs? Anybody ever experienced a really good hug? And you just love to hug that person, maybe the way they smelled or just the way they felt. You felt safe, you felt loved, you felt comforted. I challenge you to try to recreate that with your own hug. Now, some people say that sounds silly, but I had so many people inbox me and say, you know what? At first, when you said it, I thought it was silly, but I tried it and it was amazing. I said, yeah, hug yourself and hold on to yourself for a second. Hug yourself and say, I love you. All of you, touch yourself. Not for the point of arousal, but hug yourself and say, I love you. If your dad gave a firm hug, do that to yourself and remind yourself of what that felt like to be loved and affirmed and held and comforted. And do it for yourself, especially if physical touch is your love language. I'm talking about the stuff I love. I love self-care, and I didn't just awaken to it because, oh, this is wonderful. On a journey of mindfulness many years ago, as I was coming out of caregiving in 2014, and as my psychologist told me after I was experiencing hell on the job, my psychologist told me, Marcus, your mother has graduated. She passed in December of 2014. Autumn is graduating and she's closing a chapter. She's moving from high school to college. It's now time for you to graduate and do for you. It's time for you to take care of your health. It's time for you to take care of your mind. Time for you to take care of your soul. What sage advice that was, because I was not thinking about that any of the things that were happening to me were connected to me and that I could do anything about them. So as I started on this journey of mindfulness, being present in every moment, being honest with what I am feeling, getting in touch with the emotions that I'm feeling, and learning how to navigate those emotions and still be okay, I happened upon self-care. And I believe it's so important. I believe that God creating us in his image and his likeness wanted us to be more than we're doing. And in being, he wanted us to build up our being through how we care for ourselves as an expression, as a reflection of how he cares for us and how we care for him. I challenge you to give me an example of somebody that you really love and care about that you didn't take good care of. Well, what about you? Do you really love and care about you? And is the way that you're taking care of yourself reflective of that statement? What's your love quotient about you? Is it evident in what you eat, what you consume, what you read? Is it evidence in how you care for yourself? Self-care is stuff I love because it's stuff we need. We need to take better care of ourselves. And if I happen to be speaking to a parent, and I know there are some here, or a spouse, or a pastor, I know there's at least one here, or a leader, or a caregiver, you are a prime candidate for having a deficit in your self-care. I applaud the way that you care for everybody else. But this weekend, you are highly recommended by me to care for you. There is nobody like you. You are amazing. You are handsome. You are beautiful. You are brilliant. You are smart. You are savvy. You are sassy. You have swag. You smell good. You look good. You are good. Now take some time and care for you. I love the self-care journey. And as I've told you some months ago, we've been working on a self-care module that will be exclusive to those that are inside of Love and Stuff. And each month we will have a different focus, bringing in some thought leaders and experts on those topics, everything from sleep to eating right, to exercise, to prayer and meditation. And each month we will have a focus, a weekly focus touch group on that area. Now, we'll invite you to continue going with that same area every month. We're going to start it in January, so we'll just have 1 year. It'll be just, start of the year. A lot of times people like to start in the beginning of the year. And you will have that focus for that month, but you can continue it if it's a special challenge or area of focus for you. But we're going to continue to move to the next item in the hopes that we can impact your self-care in all of these different areas. When you are living better, feeling better, being better, you're going to be doing much better. And that's our thought about this self-care journey for you. It runs parallel, in my opinion, with the gratefulness journey and with mindfulness. Those are important things because when you are in these tense and terse situations, you need to be able to have some some reserve from which to draw. And you cannot have a well to draw from if there's nothing in it. Self-care is making sure that there's a refreshing of your well. And so we want to help you refresh your well in many areas. I'm going to go to the comments before I leave. Before we go, before we do go, I want to remind you again that you can go to the Love and Stuff page under groups, click on Inside 11 Stuff so that you can join that. And then at the top of the page and at the top of this video, there should be a bell to notify you of future Love and Stuff opportunities on Tuesday nights at 8:30. All right. Yes and correct. Okay, and I still see that. Okay, very good. Well, it's 9:34. It's been a wonderful show. I hope that you will join us this Friday on Passion Fridays. In my other vocation for the city of Detroit, we are looking for police officers. And so we will have the director of police personnel with us on Passion Fridays and a few members of her police recruiting team and other members of public safety who will talk to you about careers in public safety. And we need a few good men and women. We need a lot of good men and women. And I know police and law enforcement is a hot button topic. And I know there are those that want to defund police even, do different things. I think we do have to have some reform. But we also do need to realize that we need more public servants. It's public service. And there's a special call to that. So I hope you will join us Friday at noon. We'll be right here and including LinkedIn Live as well. And then on Saturday morning, our newest talk video cast is Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. Their next episode is this Saturday at 11 a.m. And if you want to hear about this resignation of the coach, Gruden, I believe is his name, who a lot of statements have come about, racist statements and homophobic statements that he allegedly made. This is one of the hot topics that they're going to be discussing on Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. We are excited because we're going to soon debut a new offering. I know it feels like OWN, but it's not. It's the Love Network. And it's around love and the scriptures. And I know everybody is a person of faith, but I believe as a man of faith that God is love. And I believe that God has both spoken and inspired people to speak words about love. And he's been writing love chapters about you. I'm just not sure that you and I are aware and reading them. And so our hope with Love in the Scriptures is to give you some perspective around God's providence around love as an ecosystem. This entire system, as corrupt as some may have tried to use it to become and pervert it to become, this whole ecosystem was built on love. Now that's something, isn't it? Slavery was not built on love. Labor is a function of the love for things to be done. There would be labor. Slavery is not a function of love. Racism is not a function of love, even though there have been people that were conquered and have conquered, and there are people that were different. Racism is in what, though it's embedded in many systems, is systemic. This ecosystem wasn't built on racism. This ecosystem, this world, was created by a loving God whose love is immeasurable and really not totally, I think, I don't think we can totally grasp it to understand it in the way our minds would comprehend it. So we want to have some perspective around it. And I think it will be interesting discussions. We've got wonderful men and women, thought leaders, pastors, preachers in the Love and Stuff community who will be sharing on love in the scriptures, and we will be talking more about that. And then as I go, because it's 9:38, men's space. We are creating a special space for the brothers. That's all I'm gonna say about that at this moment. But I'm excited for the things that are to come in Love and Stuff. And while it is front of mind, if you are interested in being a blessing to someone during the Thanksgiving holiday, we did this last year. And on Thanksgiving, we all day long, we had a love room opened, just where we had people who may not be with family during the holidays to have a place to go of sorts. It was filled with prayers and laughter and tears and stories and cooking. And we want to do that again for each of you to join us. And so if you're interested in being part of that, inbox us at Love and Stuff. We'd love to have your presence there as well. All right. I am just going to the comments. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Pam, for that information. Thank you so much. God is writing the pages of your love story, but you have to be available to read it. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Thank you all so much. Okay. I hope that you will do a few things. The main call to action is for you to click share. Tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, YouTube events, or Twitch TV friends, 5 of your more popular friends to share this content. I think self-care is important. That's the first call to action. The second call to action is to go to the Love and Stuff page. Under groups, click inside of Love and Stuff so that you can join. We want to get to a certain number, and then we're going to start our weekly meeting. We're just going to be meeting weekly right now so you can get to know some of the people in Love and Stuff and spend some time just kicking it. That's what we want to do in that, and get a chance to connect with people. Whether you have been following CDC guidelines or not, to some extent, you have maybe not been as connected as before. We want to make sure that you have good connections with great people, and this is the place to do it. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist. I'm excited about helping you activate your love in this world, and increasing the amount of love in this world is what I believe we are all called to do. We got so much going on in the world, right? We got booster shots, and we got vaccine mandates, and people that are speaking against vaccine mandates, and we got insurrections, and we've got human trafficking, and we have so many things that are happening. Why not more love in the world? And that starts, my friend, with you and me. I'm so grateful for you having been here, and we'll see you next Tuesday, if not Friday. Friday at noon, right here on Passion Fridays. Saturday at 11. Both of these are Eastern Standard Time, with Sports Talk with Kamal and Felix. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a grateful evening.